We witnessed two fantastic games of cricket today. Both games decided in the closing stages by bowling choices made by the respective captains, which firmly sealed the deal in favor of the chasing sides. You're watching another episode of End of Days Play, and this is our channel, Uninvited Opinions. Nats, fantastic games to watch today.
Yeah, very entertaining and enterprising from Rajasthan to begin with to make those shuffling changes in the batting order. And for once, I think they came close to actually striking the right balance, getting onto the right tempo, and they got the best out of Robin Uthappa. Probably this is what he's been yelling out in the change room, let me open. And he finally got the chance. And in spite of the challenge from Washington Sundar in the power plays, went hard at him early, allowed Ben Stokes to actually settle in. That meant Joss Butler had to actually back down the order. It didn't come off today, but he's done that in the one-day internationals 50 overs cricket. So I think that's also not a bad choice. And Steve Smith also, as expected, doing that middle order batsman's role to perfection. So I think they came close to executing their plans as close as possible with the bat. And I thought they had got a very competitive total. And the way they started, it was always that slow pitch, taking the pace of the ball, big boundaries in Dubai, and keeping RCB always in check. The one thing that they probably did not do enough was to get regular wickets. They always kept the run rate in check, but the wickets did not come. And that meant coming into the 14th or 15th over, they had the might of AB de Villiers in front of them. And I think that's where some of the execution was found wanting. Even from the likes of Jofra Archer, he actually bowled some balls at pace in the slot, and you don't need a second invitation for a batsman like AB de Villiers. I felt the pick of the bowlers was the young Karthik Tyagi, who bowled brilliantly well under pressure in spite of the big names in front of him. I'm a little sorry to see the game ended in the 19th over. Unadkat leaking those four boundaries, three sixes and a four. I think that sealed the deal, obviously, and it was honestly not very impressive execution of the plan by an experienced campaigner like Unadkat.
I think one has to question Steve Smith's choice of bowlers for the 19th over. It's fairly accepted that you bowl your best bowler in the 19th over to while you're defending a target, to allow your less experienced bowlers or less fancied bowlers as large a total to defend in the last over. So they they really should have bowled Jofra Archer in the final in the 19th over to give themselves the best chance of defending a total heading into the 20th over. I think they missed a beat there, and that resulted in AB taking full toll of Unadkat's bowling in the 19th over. Everybody knew what was coming. As viewers, we knew what Unadkat was going to offer up, and AB just hit him out of the park, and that sealed the game effectively. That said, I think for large parts of the game, they did keep Bangalore under check. Virat Kohli, Devdutt Padikkal, even though they made useful contributions, they never really got going. RCB were not at their best today, but still, they would, it'll really please them that they've actually come out with a win, and that will give them a lot more confidence heading into the remaining games of this year's tournament. If I'm in the Rajasthan camp, or if I, as a neutral, if I look at the Rajasthan camp, I still feel they tinker too much with their batting. That doesn't really give any level of comfort or a sense of what each batsman's role is exactly. They're still playing batsmen who are not used to opening, and they're asking them to go and open. They're pushing down opening batsmen to come and play in the middle order. I still think at their best batting order, if they really want to utilize Uthappa at the top, they need to also have Joss Butler at the top. He's the best T20 batsman in that side. They just need to give him as much time as possible to bat, and they've got enough batting lower down the order to kind of help them get to a good total. Right. Looking at the second game of the day, it was between the Delhi Capitals and the Chennai Super Kings. Chennai began in the usual fashion. They didn't have a lot of tempo in the first few overs of the batting, but Faf du Plessis and Shane Watson actually built up a very solid, second wicket stand, got them to a decent place, and then as soon as Rayudu came into bat, you could feel that he brought in a lot of energy. I always feel that he's someone who introduces an element of chaos in in the opposition camp, because he comes in, plays those unconventional shots, comes down the ground trying to hit over extra cover, and always unusually, sends a nick back to third man, stuff like that, which makes it really, confusing for the bowling side. And after Du Plessis and Dhoni fell, Jadeja came in and showed in what tremendous hitting nick he is in. And I think the knocks that he's played earlier in the tournament that sort of given him the confidence, and it was just brilliant hitting in the late overs from Raidu and Jadeja to get them to what seemed like a winning total. But as it transpired, Delhi had their own plans, and they were definitely helped by the Chennai fielders, who were really generous today, dropping Shikhar Dhawan 4 times in a chase. In a chase like this, that was just silly, actually.
Delhi didn't get off to a great start either. So again, for the last 3 games, they've been losing Prithvi Shaw early, and that has actually brought in Rahane early into the crease. He's looked slightly out of sorts. To be very fair, today he actually looked in nick. He just middled a shot and was unfortunate not to find a gap, and was caught brilliantly by Sam Curran. And then again, it is left to Shikhar Dhawan, who is now beginning to show his class, and in setting the pace game after game, coming out consistently and taking the lead role. And that was beautiful to see Shreyas Iyer actually slipping down into the second fiddle role perfectly, steadying the innings and not losing further wickets. And it was going great.
After the stand between Shreyas Iyer and Shikhar Dhawan, and then after Iyer's fall, Marcus Stoinis came in, and he again stitched together a useful stand with Dhawan. It felt that the Chennai bowlers sort of clawed back. They kept the run rate, they kept the asking rate above 10 and over. It felt that they were kind of building up a bit of pressure. And, the unfortunate unavailability of Dwayne Bravo meant that Dhoni had to turn to Jadeja in the final over with over 15 runs required for Delhi. And, one would have sensed that with the new batsman in, there's a lot of pressure on Akshar Patel. And he just turns up and says, "Pressure? What pressure?" And just coolly smokes 3 sixes out of the ground. It was just fabulous to watch. And I think he's someone who is, really confident right now in his capabilities as an all-rounder. We see that he's bowling really well. He's part of a team which has great momentum.
Actually, in the post-match presentation, the captain Shreyas Iyer rightfully accepted the fact that he is actually the unsung hero in many of the games, Akshar Patel. So he's turning out to be an integral part of this team. So Akshar Patel can be actually now more or less on a more regular basis can be treated as a finisher, which we may not have called him a few years back. But if I may make a blunt statement that may not necessarily go down well with most of the Chennai supporters, I'll say that where the game was lost was because of some of the one-dimensional discipline that most of the Chennai players bring. For example, Shane Watson does not offer anything in the field. He is a batsman and nothing else. He is not a fielder. So at least the second discipline that a batsman must possess is fielding, and that's not something that he is coming with. Dhoni is a great tactician and a more than a capable wicketkeeper. He still is, but he is a shadow of the batsman he used to be. So now one discipline you can very much discount going forward. Deepak Chahar is a fantastic power play bowler. When the ball does something, he makes the best use of it. But he needs to be hidden somewhere in the field because he's not the quickest, he's not the most agile. So you are looking at players who contribute in one discipline and nothing more. That's something that I think the moment they are honest enough to accept that fact, that will help them with their soul searching.
I think what today's results, though, have done today is that the teams at the top of the table continue to win, and that creates, even more of a mad scramble for the teams down at the bottom for the 4th place for the playoffs. So it's going to be interesting to see how the rest of how the table evolves as the tournament goes on. We're going to discuss the player of the match for each of the games today. So the first one between the Rajasthan Royals and the RCB, I think the choice is unanimous. It has to be AB de Villiers. It was just fabulous hitting, and he makes the question everyone had at the end of this game is, ABD plays so well at number 4. Why did you get him at number 6 in your previous game? So And then in the second game between the Delhi Capitals and CSK, again the choice is unanimous. I think it has to be Shikhar Dhawan. Fantastic knock. He just looked in great touch today. And even though he was dropped a few times, he made the most of those chances. And some of the shots that he played, straight down the ground over extra cover, the sweeps that he played, they were just fabulous. And especially a couple of shots which stood out was how he went wide outside the off stump and took those low full tosses and swept them or paddled them all the way to the deep square leg boundary. Brilliant batting to watch. It's really good to see him come into his own and sort of set the pace for Delhi.
Yeah, and remember a few weeks back, I think I had said that he is playing a very good second fiddle to Prithvi Shaw. But now I also mentioned over the last 3 games, Shaw has been repeatedly failing. And therefore, he has actually taken the responsibility of not just playing the anchor, but also the aggressor. So much so that, in fact, Shreyas Iyer has accepted the role of playing the anchor. So he's playing aggressively and he's beautifully batting. So this is probably the most consistent run he has actually enjoyed in the IPL. And as he said rightly, this is his 13th year in the IPL, and this was the first IPL 100 he scored. So he must have been mighty pleased that he actually ended up on the winning side.
Right. Looking at tomorrow's games, we've got another double header. So the first one is between the Sunrisers Hyderabad and the Kolkata Knight Riders. Quick pick, Nugs. SRH or KKR?
SRH, KKR are down in the dumps. I would hope for an even contest, but I think SRH.
Well, I'm going KKR. And then the second game is between the Mumbai Indians and the Kings 11 Punjab. Do you see Kings 11 stopping Mumbai?
If ever there was a time for the universe boss to show where he belongs, he would relish the challenge facing the new ball attack against Mumbai. So I'm actually looking for Kings 11's resurgence. If at all there is a possibility, hypothetically in the table, for them to make a comeback and fight for the playoff spot, I think I'm still backing Kings 11.
Well, I don't see anyone stopping Mumbai at this point in time. So let's see how it pans out tomorrow. That's a wrap on today's episode. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please like and share it with your friends. Subscribe to our channel to keep more videos coming your way. And as always, we'll see you again tomorrow. Until then, bye-bye.